Okay, got day 3 on the B9 robot. Another day of a lot of work with no progress. I've managed to clean up most of the seams now. I'm pretty sure, can't really feel anything, but won't really be able to tell until I've got primer on it. So for the moment, they're going to be called done. I'm going to try prime everything. I might actually paint everything in stages, so I'll paint up these bottom part of the legs, or tracks, whatever you want to call them, and then do the rest of them in sub-assemblies, I guess, instead of painting everything at once. So that'll be the next thing. I've got to prime this up and see what's going on there. The hands themselves and the arms, or whatever you want to call them, they're pretty much done, ready for primer and paint. All the parts are cleaned up and glued what I can glue together. I do want to try keep these so that he has an option to use the long arms or the short arms, so I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to go about that yet. Maybe with magnets or something, but we'll work that out later. All these parts to the side of the tracks, they're all good to go for some primer. What else? I've started cleaning up getting parts for the torso. So that's all, these larger parts here. Cut them all off the trees, ready for sanding up and mocking up. I did do the mouthpiece, which is nothing really, but basically this section is going to have to be cut out because the mouthpiece needs to have a light behind it for when he's talking. So I'm not sure if I have to make a whole new piece or whether I'm just going to cut out most of it and just leave like a frame, which I'll probably end up doing that because no point making up a whole new piece. But anyway, that's that. The I don't know, leg pieces, waist, hips, I don't know, whatever they are, they sit about there. That's not much, only 2 pieces to that. That's cleaned up. I probably have to, there is a hole there for wiring, I'll probably have to make that hole bigger. Not sure yet, but that's something that can be done later. All these vinyl things, I think I'm just going to flat coat them. I've got to try on a test piece somewhere and just see what happens, because you can't really paint it because it's flexible and it'll just crack. And this seam in the front is supposed to be there, so that's a good thing. I actually think they designed it like that because the seam actually goes in, whereas the one on the sides, they stick out and they look like they're the actual mold line, but that's not there on the actual robot. But there's not really a way you can sand that off and with good results anyway. So I think I'm just going to leave it as it is. It's not a big deal. And just flat coat these so they're not shiny. Hopefully the flat coat will stick to it and stay there, but like I said, I've got to test it first. This piece is cleaned up. Just the top of the dome where the mouthpiece, top of the torso I should say, where the mouthpiece sits into. Now, I basically sand everything, whether it's with sandpaper or files, whatever, usually sandpaper, but when you get sort of areas like that where it's tight to get into and whatever, and the size of these things, what I do is I use these, I guess what you would call maybe a Scotch-Brite, and you can get them in different grits. This one's fairly fine. I think it's probably the same as sanding with, but maybe 1200, maybe 800, somewhere between there. And it just makes it easier to, because you could fold, it's like a sponge, you can pretty much get in little crevices and whatever, and get wherever you need to get to. Sorry about the shoddy camera work. So yeah, it just makes it easier. So that's another little tip that, if you haven't tried that, that's one way to go. I mean, if you're someone that uses these these sanding files, sanding pads, whatever you want to call them. I mean, even with those, I mean, it's difficult to get in all the crevices and stuff. You know, you risk flattening out areas that you don't need to. And I mean, I'm not talking about sanding away plastic. It's just scuffing it up to get rid of the shininess when you're going to paint it. So yeah, that's a good way just to scuff it up, just so the paint sort of bites into it. Alright, that's it for today, and we'll catch you on the next one. Alright guys, day 4, the B9 robot. Haven't got a lot done today, just it's basically just been cleaning up all the torso parts, torso section. This has already been cleaned up. I still need to trim this to fit for the mouthpiece, the lights. This section is going to be lit. I think something in here is lit. Maybe this little section here has a light in it. Something's lit. I have to check the reference photos, but yeah, so something lights up there. This piece is pretty much just mocked up, all the clear parts. It took a bit of work to get them to fit. They were very tight. Even now they're a bit tight, but I had to sort of trim away a bit of the plastic and around the edges just so it pops in a bit easier. I might have to go a bit more because I think when I put paint on it, it's going to chip it away. And of course that part there fits in there, and there's another clear part that goes over it, which actually slides like a little door, which is pretty cool. Alright, so I've cleaned those up, cleaned that up. I've cleaned up all these little parts in here, just some bits and pieces, with all the, what do you call it, the things for these, the switch and the lights and whatever else that go here. I've glued these two parts together and cleaned these up. I still need to tackle the seams on either side. I had to actually drill these holes out because they were filled in with plastic, like just a little pinhole in it. I don't know what the deal was with that, because there's a piece that sits in there, so it needs the little notches to fit, which is this piece, the little circuit board which goes on the side. Anyway, not a big deal. These pieces comes together. I had to chop it in half because the top of this gets lit, which is fine like that, but these I'm going to replace with 3mm LEDs, which will fit pretty much perfectly in there, so they'll look a lot better than using that and trying to put lights behind this, because basically this is one big piece of plastic, so if there's any light anywhere, it'll just you know, show up everywhere else, because it's just going to flow through the plastic like a bit of ambient light. So just cut that off and replace it with LEDs, and this top section pretty much just needs to glow white, because I'm going to paint those with Tamiya clear. We've got yellow, green, red, and green and yellow again, something like that. I've got a little thing here that I worked out. That's the colours I need. That's what I'm going with anyway. The bottom row of colours, they vary. I'm not sure if they vary from season to season, but just from other reference photos and stuff, they seem to be different. So that's the one that I went with, which will be next. Actually, I want to sort of get some electronics working. I got some parts this morning that I was waiting for, so I'm going to get going on the electronics, so that'll be in the next episode. But yeah, I still got to, like I said, still got to sand that down. I can pretty much get rid of that piece, but put it in there for now. That shouldn't be too hard to light up. And yeah, that's it for now. Like I said, we'll get started on the electronics. See you on the next one.